Alright guys, welcome to another G Auto Repair YouTube video. Today we're just going to be doing a simple tool review on these two ratchets. One is an Icon 3/8 flex head and the other is a Duralast 3/8 flex head. They're both 90 tooth gears, or 90 or 80 something, I forget, but I want to say it's one of the latest ones that came out. As you can see, it's very smooth. Both of them, the gear is very similar. They should be about the same. But I'm just going to be discussing the differences between the two, and I will share which one is my personal favorite. Because Icon, which is purchased at Harbor Freight, is supposed to be comparable to Snap-on, obviously at a fraction of the price. And this one is just, you pick up at any local AutoZone and you could pick up this ratchet, no big deal. There is a price difference between the two. This one costs about $36, $37, somewhere around that ballpark, and this one's about $45, $46, so it's about $10 more for this one. And but there are some subtle differences that, in my opinion, are very important as a professional technician. The DIYer might not care, or the weekend warrior might not care, but for a professional technician that swings these ratchets back and forth all day, those little things, those little tiny details make a difference. So as you can see, they're both 3/8. The Icon has the swivel, but there's no really locking. It's just a smooth swivel, versus the Duralast, which has like a locking type swivel head. Me personally, I kind of like this a little better. It's not a big deal. They both do the function. Some might like these because you could just kind of put it in any position and then just work it. I like these because you could kind of just do one of these number and kind of holds there, and then you do your work or whatever you have to do. So this is just a minor difference, but not a deal breaker by any means. The two biggest differences, in my opinion, that are important to me as a professional. If you look closely at the profile of the ratchet, you can tell the difference right off the bat. The Duralast actually has a lower, or a slimmer profile, versus the Icon. You can see that it's thicker. And just to give you an idea, the Icon measures about 16 millimeters. I don't know if you guys can see that there. Versus the Duralast, that measures, what, 14 millimeters? That's just a 2 millimeter difference. That's roughly what, a little over a 16th of an inch, almost an eighth of an inch, or something like that. I don't think it's quite an eighth. It's probably a little over a 16th of an inch or something like that. But in those tight spaces, those 2 millimeters might make a difference. They may or they may not. For the professional, that's why all their tools are very low profile. They're lighter. They're easier to handle because you're swinging these things back and forth all day long. So this one can get in that little tighter spot versus this one. Now another difference, again, 2 millimeters, wow, big deal. But if you look at the mechanism right here, to reverse it, to put it forward and on and off, look at the difference. Big difference there. This one sticks out way more than this one. This one is more flush. It sticks out a little bit, but it's more flush versus this one. Again, if you're the weekend warrior, the DIYer, you're like, what's the big deal? Well, I mean, I don't get it. Well, when you're in those tight spots working, this, and if you're a professional, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. You're working, all of a sudden you bump this with something, and then you start putting the bolt back in there instead of taking it out. Or you're trying to put it in and then you start taking it back out because you bumped this. It got snagged with a wiring harness or something, and it flipped this the little switch thingy, and now you're either doing the opposite of what you want to do. This happens to me all the time. Versus where this one is more of a slimmer profile, it's less likely. It can still happen, but it's less likely to catch on something and then do that. So to me, these two details are very important. So just to get an idea of the overall profile, you're looking at almost 19 millimeters. 19 millimeters for the Icon versus the Duralast, which is right at 15 millimeters. That's a 4 millimeter difference. When we're talking about tight spaces, that's a big number. If you're a professional, you know what I'm talking about. That's a big number. So this thing's gonna be snagging all over the place, doing the opposite of what you want to do, versus this one is less likely to happen. Now handle wise, I really don't care about this right here. I actually wanted to get one just like this, but they didn't have it at the time, so I ended up getting this one. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't get a style like this ratchet 10 plus years ago. These things are great, both of them. They work. They both do their function. You can get those funny angles, you know, in tight spaces and things like that, and they work great. Both of them do. The thing is that I've never had one until just, you know, about a year ago, where I bought this one first and this one. So I bought this one, I used it for a while. I wanted to get a second one to put in the truck. I said, let me try the Icon one, so I bought it. I put this one in the truck, and I put this one in my toolbox, which gets used the most, so I could give it a fair comparison. And after using both of them for a while, I have come to the conclusion that I have a preferred one. I have a preferred one, and in my opinion, I like this one better, the Duralast, for the price, for the little small details that are important to me. I'm gonna put this one back in my toolbox. I'm gonna put this one in my work truck. I just like this one better. After using this one, I totally like this one better. You may disagree, you may not, you know, personal preference, but for me, this one is better. Just the profile, this mechanism here, to me, there's a major difference there. Again, I don't know who makes this for them, for Duralast, but Harbor Freight is pushing this brand. They're very proud of it. They always compare it to Snap-on, and Snap-on is the cream of the crop. You pay for it, so it's a good tool. I'm not saying it's not. It's a good tool. I got, you know, some other stuff from Icon is really good, but comparing these two, for me, I like this one better. Now, if we were to look at, now this is completely different, so we can't compare this one to this one, but this is their 1/4 inch. Now this is Pittsburgh, again, Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh, flex head ratchet, but 1/4 inch drive. Look at the profile on this. Very thin, flush here, less likely to catch. Look, this is a snap-on. Again, they're really not the same wrench, so it's kind of an unfair comparison. But just to give you an idea, now this is a snap-on, and look at an older one. This thing is over 15 years old, so you could tell that there's a difference. But they're not really the same wrench, so it's not a fair comparison. But just to give you an idea, the cheaper Pittsburgh ratchet has all the features that I like. I love this ratchet. I found myself using this one more than this one, which is a really expensive, high quality ratchet. It's got that 72 tooth or 90 tooth, whatever it is that they have going on now. I don't remember. It's very smooth, very soft. Same with these, you know, they're really not that bad. You know, the mechanism itself is very similar from one to the other, but those details are what's a deal breaker for me. I'm not saying that this is bad, just saying that I prefer this one over this one. And again, Pittsburgh, same place, Harbor Freight, but look at the difference, the detail that I'm looking at. Low profile, flush here, less likely to get caught with something. Could still happen, but less likely. And yet this one that they're pushing, more expensive, higher quality, I don't know, it seems kind of bulky to me. It seems kind of bulky, and this is way out there, you know. It seems very kind of primitive. I don't know if I should say that, but I don't know. These are my thoughts. This is what I've found between these two ratchets, the Duralast versus the Icon. I think I'm gonna stick to my guns on the Duralast. It's cheaper, details that I like, you know, lower profile, things of that nature. So you may disagree. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think. You probably have both of these or different, have different experiences with them. I'm not sure. I like to hear from the community and see what you guys think about this comparison. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next video. Like and subscribe, and thanks for your support. Ciao.